Hi, welcome to the second video. We're going to jump into our first unit. Congratulations for making it this far. We are going to get right on a roll here. So to jump in, what you'll need to do from kind of the syllabus homepage that opens up, on the left-hand side, you'll see content. Go ahead and click on that, and you will notice the Unit 1 section, which is May 29th to June 10, as well as everything you'll have due and the links to get there for the first unit. So to jump in, I'm going to click on the unit, and you'll see it also brings up a table of contents for all of our assignments. So if we click on Essay 1 Prompt, we will have that open in a new window, and it brings up the prompt for Essay 1. So we are going to be writing a literacy narrative for this unit. Now that may sound a little fancy, but if we just break down those two words, we can find out that it's not all that complicated. So literacy is the ability to read and write, and we know we all are literate because we're here in a college class. And narrative is telling a story. So when we look at those two things, we can understand a literacy narrative is telling the story of how we learn to read and write and the importance of it in our life. So one of the ways to become a better reader, a better writer, is to become a stronger reader. So you'll see we have 3 literacy narratives by famous authors that we're going to read in this unit. We're going to read Learning to Read and Write by Frederick Douglass, Superman and Me by Sherman Alexie, and A Homemade Education by Malcolm X. And then in each of those, we will pinpoint what our favorite passages were from those essays. Really, what kind of struck a chord with us and made us think, whoa, that was really strong writing. How did the author do that? Because to become better writers, we have to understand how strong writers do that. It's much like practicing a sport or doing drills. We have to recognize the skill and then practice it ourselves. And so in this week's first discussion board, you're going to be pinpointing those passages that stood out and recognizing how the author did that so that we can start to include that in our own writing. The other reason we want to read to become a better writer is to widen our perspective. Many of us may take literacy for granted. It's something that we just have been doing since we were little, reading and writing, and what's the big deal? And as we read the essays by Douglass and Alexie and Malcolm X, we'll start to see that literacy is life-changing, and that for those of us that have always just had it as part of our lives, we can really widen our perspective and understand the depths of literacy. So for our writing assignment, we need to talk a little bit about the elements of narrative. First thing I'm going to do is start off with what it's not. Writing a narrative is not a 5-paragraph essay, as many of us were drilled to do in high school. Writing a narrative does not include a thesis statement that provides the overview of the entire essay. Rather, the main idea is threaded out and kind of blossoms throughout the process of writing. And lastly, writing a narrative is not a summary. It doesn't tell me first this happened, then this happened, and lastly this happened, and now I'm in college and I can read and write. Those aren't the stories. We really want to tap in to the stories and anecdotes of our literacy. So what is a narrative? A narrative has characters, which this is first person, so that will be you and anybody important to your literacy story. The setting, the places it happened. It may be your home, a classroom, a library, maybe out in your community, wherever it is you learned to read and write. And it has a plot. What were those challenges? What were those struggles? What were those high moments? Okay? And in that narrative, to tell that story, we use lots of details and imagery. What did you hear? What did you see? What did you feel? Remember, your reader was not there, so you really need to baby step them through your story so that I, as your audience, your reader, can feel and understand and picture and visualize all that it is that you went through. So that was quite a bit of information I just gave you. All of this and more is included in the literacy narrative overview. So go ahead and take a look at that. It will provide lots of foundation as well as some ideas for revising, and some tips for writing. So you'll want to make sure you have that handy and review it a few times during your writing process. I've also posted an example literacy narrative from a past student along with my comments, so you'll get to see that as well. All right, so go ahead. We'll see you out on the discussion board, and please reach out if you have any questions or concerns or issues or just want to bounce some ideas off of me. I'm here to help and look forward to working with you.